Good morning again. Okay, second time. So we went live like 5 minutes ago, something like that. But we still had our 3 minute delay on from the Chicken for Charity tournament. So yeah, that would have absolutely ruined the stream because we'd have been having conversations with you guys, and then you'd have been responding, and then we'd have been responding like 3 minutes later. So fuck that shit. How is the mic? Is it fine? Fuck that shit. All right, sounds good. Anyway, good morning, everyone. Apologies for the delay. We are back. And I was asking you, what about that new intro? But that was so long ago now. It's like 3 minutes ago when all that happened, so you've probably forgotten it. So tune in tomorrow and you'll see the new Ice Cream Uploads intro video, the countdown. Yeah, nice. Good morning, Mike. Good morning, Mr. Fatman Dave. Gary as well, Bateson. Hey, Lake. Everyone's here. How's things? Do you all have a good weekend? Welcome in. Twitch.tv/Ice Cream Uploads. My name is Graham Day. This man is the man that we call BB. Hopefully the mic all sounds good. It's all kind of gone tits up this morning. I've been tinkering with my RTX voice. For something that didn't even need to be tinkered with. There was a whistling coming through the microphone, and it turns out the whistling was from roadworks outside. So anyway, fixed all that, changing all the intro stuff, fixing all that stuff, and then finally go live with a 3 minute delay. So yeah, we got there eventually. Sammy J, good morning. Good to see you, boys. Good to see you too, Mr. Clark. Bateson saying scuff streamers. Do you mean as in scuff as in controllers? But yes, I agree. Yes, mate.
I wish.
Yeah, that too. Do you know, I want to get one of those Doctor Disrespect pads, but I don't want to because what's the point in getting one of those now when I get a PS5 because it won't work on most of the PS5, well, all of the PS5 games. So
pretty much.
When Scuff make a Doctor Disrespect PS5 controller, then I'm gonna opt in.
That's inevitable.
Good evening.
Inevitable.
Anyway, speaking of good evening, how is everyone doing? Welcome into twitch.tv/Ice Cream Plus. My name is Graham. This is Bib. We together at Ice Cream, and in true Ice Creamy fashion, this is The Scoop, the UK's #1 video game podcast, even if we do say so ourselves. We're going to give you our thoughts and impressions on the biggest, the best, and the breaking stories from the world of video games. We want your thoughts and impressions on our thoughts and impressions, and we do that live each and every single weekday at 10 a.m.-ish. Looks at the time, it's 11:30. Fuck, okay. Never mind. Ish. There's a very big emphasis on the ish there. But if you are in the chat, please feel free to get involved on behalf of everyone that's watching on demand later, because we make this into a YouTube video and a podcast that goes on iTunes, Spotify, SoundCloud, and Google Play. Everyone gets to listen on demand, but they don't get to chat to us right here, right now in the chat on Twitch. But you guys get to do that, which you're all doing already. So lovely. Also, once again, huge shout out to everyone that was here on Friday, because we had our first hype train go all the way up to level 5 and finish it, because there was like 1,000,001 bits dropped, subs given, people gifting subs, not only subscribing for themselves, primes, and all the rest. So once again, shout out to everyone for making that happen. It means a lot. Thank you very much, boys. Sammy J, welcome in, dude. Morning. Judging by the look on Bibby's face, he actually watched City's game yesterday.
Do you know what? I did and I didn't, because it was my sister-in-law's 40th birthday this weekend, so went out for drinks on Saturday, and then yesterday, as we was in the curry house, City was playing, so I got to see little bits of it as I was watching it on my phone in between, not trying to be rude and just having my phone on the desk. But yeah, it was an absolute shambles. Spent 17 billion on defenders and we can't even fucking attack a ball in comparison, but hey-ho.
Could be worse. It could be worse. You could win a game after it's finished.
Yeah, well, I suppose, yeah, final whistle goes and then you get a penalty, no worries.
Although, to be fair, I mean, I'd rather win a game after it's finished than not, I suppose. So I'll take it. Everton fans taking over the music charts. What? What? Everton fans have got the Spotify UK #1? Is this an actual thing? Or am I missing something here? What? Oh yeah, I'm disappointed though, because Mason Greenwood scored. He did score, didn't he? I can't remember now. It's been that long ago. He did. I'm fairly sure he scored. But anyway, got him in my club. Goes up to 96 rated, and he's on D form. Fuck's sake! Yeah. Well, he's going straight into the reserves for the next week or so. We got Spirit of the Blues to #1. I mean, are you guys like top of the league now? Joint top of the league, 3 wins or something like that? If so, GG's.
Yeah, them and Leicester, innit?
Yeah. Oh yeah, speaking of Leicester, so me and Bib have a PES Master League series, and we, in the summer of the of the series, so not actually back in summer. But I suppose technically it was because it was still summer when we did it. But we signed Mason Mount over James Maddison, and James Maddison scored an absolute screamer yesterday. But I didn't see until looking at the goals highlights last night that Mason Mount also scored a screamer. So
Yeah, it is.
So swings and roundabouts, swings and roundabouts. Anyway, let's jump into the news because we started pretty late today, and we have quite a few bits to go through. And also we have a schedule to keep to. So we have Masters of the League to bring you. That's usually around 12, so that's obviously going to be a bit delayed because of the slow start today. But we'll try keep up the pace, move through this pretty fast so we can get everything down and into the next bits. Yes, mate, behind on goal difference and play Brighton at home next before an away trip to the Red Shite. I mean, I don't know. Brighton, that seems like a team that United might have played recently. We've seen United have just been given Brighton. So they just played Brighton away, and they've got Brighton away 2 days' time in the Carabao Cup.
Yeah.
So 4 days apart, Brighton twice. Hopefully.
Did they come back to Manchester, or did they just stay down there if that was the case?
I think they'd already be back in Manchester, because that's only just been drawn, I think, today,
Right.
unless I'm wrong. But yeah, Brighton 2 days ago, Brighton 2 days' time. Yeah. Bibby looks like he has a high vis vest on. He does. So when we're not streaming on a Monday morning or any morning, the reason the scoop doesn't start till 10 a.m. ish is because Bibby's is a part-time
Bin
lollipop man. No, lollipop man, Bib, not bin man.
Oh, okay. Okay. Maybe the bin man.
Bib man. Brighton beat United. No, they didn't. I mean, they pretty much did. Everywhere apart from on paper, the actual one scoreline that we take away. But it's fine. I mean, do you know what? We didn't deserve a point. So the fact that we got 3 out of it is fucking incredible. Also,
Yeah.
it's yeah. Anyway, that's enough of that. Jumping into the first news article. Bateson, bin man Bibby, it has a good ring. Oh, I.
Exactly.
Oh, I.
Exactly.
It has a good ring. This is a family show, mate. Obviously, it's pre-watershed. God.
Bending over for no one.
Speaking of bending over, nice tangent into someone that wants to bend you over and take all your money away. Bits. And what are your thoughts on this? First news article is EA is criticised for promoting FIFA microtransactions in UK toy shops. So Smith's Toys Guide advises customers to buy FIFA points. What are your thoughts? Electronic Arts has been criticised for promoting FIFA microtransactions at a UK toy retailer. Smith's Toys' latest in-shop magazine features an advertisement for FIFA 21, which includes a 4-step guide for creating your ultimate team. Step 2 being use FIFA points to open packs. According to a Twitter user, it's the second year EA has promoted FIFA microtransactions in the Smith's Toys magazine. FIFA points are the virtual currency used to buy foot packs, the loot crate mechanic that awards random players for use in the Ultimate Team mode. Ultimate Team is FIFA's most popular mode, and it's also its most profitable. In its last financial year, creator Electronic Arts made $1.5 billion from Ultimate Team microtransactions across FIFA, NHL, and Madden, and the third year in a row, the mode has generated over $1 billion. A top-rated comment on Reddit criticised EA's advertising in Smith's Toys. I find this extremely wrong, as not only is it in a kids' magazine, but they're actually saying you should go out you should go about the game by buying points and opening packs. Normalising in-game purchase for kids since an early age is so, and then it's censored, fucking unethical. The loot box mechanic has faced mainstream criticism in recent years amid comparisons to gambling. Some European countries have already classified loot boxes as gambling, while all 3 console platform holders have introduced policies that require games made for their consoles to disclose loot box odds. Loot boxes have also attracted the attention of the UK's House of Lords. In September 2019, a report from the UK's Digital Culture, Media and Sport Committee advised the UK government to regulate loot boxes under gambling law and ban them from sale to children. There is currently no legal consensus in the US on whether loot boxes constitute gambling. However, games rating board, the ESRB, has begun flagging games that contain random in-game purchases, such as loot boxes or gacha mechanics. I don't even know what that is. Nice, a little bit of gacha mechanics. In California, a recent class action lawsuit was brought against Electronic Arts, claiming the publisher's Ultimate Team modes breached the state's gambling laws. The suit alleges that EA relies on creating addictive behaviours in consumers to generate huge revenues, and that EA's Ultimate Team packs are predatory and designed to entice gamers to gamble. Let's pause there. We can tell roughly what the rest of it's going to say. EA are placing advertising in multiple places, and loads of people don't like it. But what are your thoughts? What do you think, Bib?
Until it gets regulated as actually being gambling, I think they're well within the right to market it however they want, whether or not it's unethical or not. What was unethical was back when I was in school, corner shops selling packets of fags to kids. That was unethical. That was highly addictive as well, and it was well, I won't say it's a lot more expensive because kids were selling them 50p a stick, you know. But yeah, until it actually gets made illegal to a certain degree, then they can market it however they want, however unethical it is. That's up to the consumer. But yeah, they're well within their right when it comes to marketing to say to open it to play this game. You can open packs, whether that be for FIFA points or grinding it. That's why people do Road to Glory accounts, surely, to be able to not spend any money in the accounts. However, if you want to be able to, like, I can't play. I started playing Ultimate Team in March, and it lasted about 2 weeks because unless I put money into that game, I am so far behind. Like, it's not like in Pro Evo where you can go in with like a team strength, so you can play 3-star, 4-star, 5-star. If I went in and I just had like the most basic of basic Premier League teams, that was like 4-star, I would still come up against 5-star teams. There's no way that I can do that without doing SBCs or uh, trying to qualify for weekend league or whatever it may be to try and get the better premium packs. There's no way that I can do that. But whereas in obviously Pro Evo, I can do that. I can play 4-star if I want. If I've got like a lacking squad and I'm playing 3-star, my best 3-star squad might be better might be shitter than somebody else's, but I don't have to put any money in. That's just my choice whether or not I want to do that. But I mean, it being in a kids magazine, yeah, kind of that's a bit shitty. But it's I think it's been normalized over the years. Going in and buying FIFA points. What the kids want now for their birthdays? They want new skins for Fortnite, and they want FIFA points. That's the way it is. Until all of these things get regulated, for me personally, I think it's a free for all. However unethical it is,
That's a
the
good
well
point.
will be able to do it.
I think that's kind of the best point. Is there's two different conversations. Are EA in the wrong for doing this legally? No, not at all. That's the point. I mean, it might be at some point, and it potentially is close to it in certain areas of the world, but no, they're not in the wrong. Not legally. In terms of ethically, in terms of should they be doing that, then that's a different conversation. But it's the same thing. Like there was that thing with Jimmy Carr who was tax dodging. He didn't break any laws. He played the system to save himself hundreds of thousands of pounds in taxes. And people hated him for it. He got loads of stick for it. And it's like the system literally exists in that way. I'm not breaking any law. I'm playing the game. And it's a shit one because then everyone else that doesn't have the ability to pay for an accountant has to pay all of their taxes. And people that were earning a percent of Jimmy Carr's wages were paying more taxes than him, which is shit. The rich stay rich and the poor stay poor kind of situation. But legally, Jimmy Carr didn't do anything wrong. It's just that should I have done it? And it's that's the question: is should I have done it? If you're the one that's not on the receiving end of that, like if you're the one that's not having to pay those taxes, then you're thinking, yeah, you absolutely should have paid it. But if you're the one that has to pay those taxes, if someone says to me, would you like to give up more money than you have to? No. And
I'm going to save that money for FIFA points. Do you know what I mean?
So the question is like should EA be doing it? I mean, we all know morally, no, they shouldn't. But morally is the difference. Is if I have a business that can earn me millions and billions, well, billions of pounds, would I opt to earn billions or would I just settle for millions? Well, I'm going to opt to earn billions. Okay, do you want to do it in a way that's not illegal? Well, yeah, absolutely. Okay, well, okay, you can do it in a way that's perfectly legal. You're just going to get judged for it. It's like, yeah, but it's not illegal. It's not illegal. Make it illegal, and then it'll stop happening. But until that point, so there's that side of it. But yeah, the other side of it is, what was it? Basis comment. They shouldn't word the advert like that. It shouldn't even mention FIFA points. And that's the thing. I mean,
No,
I know a few
I
people
agree with that.
that work in gaming that have come from game. I mean, pretty much all of the UK industry has come from game at some point, or game station, or game. They're at the same company essentially, but they all are kind of not even conditioned. It's if you buy the game, they upsell. So if you go buy a pair of shoes, you get offered. Do you want some of this stuff that you can keep it? What's it? Prep fresh or whatever. Prep protect. Do you want to keep it white? Keep the mud off it, or do you want some new laces or whatever? Games version of that is okay. If you're buying the game, will give you a discount on your first batch of FIFA points so that you get into that mindset of buying the FIFA points. So it's not even like it's just a Smiths thing and EA do it. The game stores themselves do it. So it's not even like EA
It's
are
an easy
being.
sell, isn't it?
It is, yeah,
It's an
but
easy sell. There's a reason why they used to have coin trading back in the day, because you used to get coins for like next to nothing. Whereas I think, again, correct me if I'm wrong. Obviously, Bateson probably the only person here that absolutely hammers it. But correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think that's prevalent anymore, because it doesn't prominent. Sorry, because they've put fucking out, they put caps on how much you can spend on players. So I don't know if that's even a thing anymore. But yeah, that used to be back in the day. Every man and his dog used to sell FIFA coins. I don't know whether or not you're allowed to do that anymore, but it was cheaper than obviously buying FIFA points at the time. I've absolutely no idea, but I agree with Gagad's um, opinion, saying that parents are the problem. They need to grow a backbone. I agree, because there is times where kids are stealing their mum and dad's uh, cards to be able to go and buy this stuff. Now, fair enough, if they're stealing it, the parents won't have any choice, but to willingly put money into your kid's account, that's a wrong move, because then that gets them addicted more than themselves doing it. It's not as if like they're own putting their own money into it. The kids have no the kids do not know the value of money. They do not know the value until they start earning it themselves, and they start having real world problems like having a phone contract, rent, food, bills, things like that. They do not know the value of money. They expect consoles or games for the birthday, even though you might not be able to afford it. You might have to work extra hours to be able to do it. I don't know. I am not a father. But I know for a fact that my mum had to do those things to be able to provide those things for me when I was little. But yeah, they don't know the value of money. So they think, I don't even know the price of FIFA points anymore, but say there was 40 quid for 300 FIFA points. I know that's way off, way off. But they think 300 FIFA points, my mates have 300 FIFA points all the time, but they don't know that the mum and dad are paying 45 quid for it.
yeah, yeah.
So they don't know the value of money. It's a tough thing, but until uh, ethically and legally become the same thing, then FIFA will. There's a reason they earned $1.4 billion last year through FIFA, through Ultimate Team on various different games. It's because they can get away with it. Until they can't get away with it, this will keep on happening, regardless of whether or not it's ethical or not.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I mean, it's like you get people pointing the finger. I mean, that's kind of the thing. We want to come at this, and rather than just have it as a "fuck you, EA," as that's what most people tend to do. Most people tend to hate the man. The man in this one is the one that controls the game, i.e., literally the game. Uh, EA, they control FIFA and they control all that thing. So naturally, the instinct is to instantly start sticking the finger up at those, and that's understandable from an ethical standpoint. Completely, I understand if you're looking at it from the argument of is it ethical to promote gambling to people at such a young age? I mean, my opinion, I mean, I don't like that game mode generally anyway, that sort of stuff. I'm an old man, so I will play my club over, Master League over my club. So, same thing, I'd probably play career mode over Ultimate Team because I'm old.
Hmm.
But that means I don't have any positivity towards it, like in terms of I don't not positivity, not any positivity. It's a really good mode for what it has, but there is a very strong argument for addiction in that and anything else, and whether that should be pushed to people at a young age.
Yeah.
But like it's still legal. It's still legal. You don't see people absolutely rinsing. I mean, you talked about selling fags and stuff on street corners. That is ethically wrong, but is still legal. You don't have like people going after cigarette manufacturers and stuff. Not in that sort of way. You do. You obviously do.
Well, the law got changed that, didn't it? I don't know whether or not it was in like the last 12 months or something, but when I was in school, when I got into year 11, I think they put it up from 16 to 18. So, but then kids were just getting other people to go in for them. But now, if a shop is selling cigarettes to someone who then selling them on, that is obviously it's a criminal activity. And I hear it on the radio all the time, right? That just shows you the type of place that I live. Do you know what I mean? When it's saying that on the radio, if you get caught distributing cigarettes to kids, then you're going to get like a 10 grand fine and prison time or whatever. That's the kind of place that I live. But it's just one of those things, like unethically and legally, it is now wrong to be able to do. I mean, it wasn't as if it wasn't wrong back then. Like people was asking other people to go into the shop for them to buy booze and cigs since the dawn of time. That's just the way it is. But
The
now,
di-
obviously, you got the hefty fines
the
come along with
difference
it.
is though is like there's fines, but there's nothing to stop it from happening. In that sort of sense. So when I say stop it from happening, like, okay, they're going, oh, okay, we don't want this to be done to kids, but we still want it to exist. So we don't want you to be able to poison children, but you can poison yourself. That's fine. That's fine. We're all for that. But for this, it's not just a case of, okay, we don't want it to be marketed to children. It's we don't want it to happen at all. So government are sitting down trying to stop microtransactions being in a video game, but government aren't sitting down and stopping the sale of tobacco products or the sale of alcohol and stuff like that. I mean, don't get me wrong.
They get a massive chunk of that though, don't they, through tax?
Yeah, exactly. I think that's the clear difference. So the reason we have that offset between ethics and legality is they can regulate one industry or two industries, but they can't regulate the third one. So they can take a massive chunk off the tobacco industry, they can take a massive chunk off of alcohol, but they can't take a massive chunk off of in-game transactions. At least not yet. Maybe they will be in the future. So that's the reason why they're not that arsed at squashing this entirely. And that's the reason why we do have an ethical standpoint and a legal standpoint and so on, but it would probably it'd probably move much faster in terms of squashing one way or the other if the government had a vested interest in this. At this point in time, they'll sit down, they'll talk about it, and so on. And it has been gathering pace. We had that thing in September last year. There was something earlier on this year as well, because I remember us covering that where it took another step forward. And someone in the chat had, where is the comment? Someone said it. I can't find it. Someone else mentioned that something else had happened recently, or even yesterday. Find it. Ah, never mind. But yeah, the fact that we haven't got to a point where it's legal versus ethical. We're still going to choose legal versus ethical. In fact, we haven't got to that point is because there isn't that much of a government interest. If the government were taking money off of this, you can guarantee that it'd be fully regulated and everything by now. So yeah, it's shit. My stance is it is shit because it opens the potential for gambling addiction at an early age. I am also very, very clearly on the stance with that we've shared before that parents should have more of a controlling say in that. I do feel it's a bit sort of like almost people complain about a nanny state, but they also want to blame everyone else when they're doing something wrong. I don't want you to take my freedoms. I don't want you to decide for me. Okay. Don't spend all of your money on FIFA. No, I want you to stop me from being able to do that. Okay, well, you don't want me to decide, but you want me to decide. Where does it stop? Where does it stop? So I like the fact that options exist, but people, can they be trusted with those options? Chloe buys skins in Fortnite, but she's not addicted to buying skins in Fortnite because she has an allowance and she pays for the skins that she gets from her allowance. Yeah, I might add something else on. If she can't choose between two skins, I might go, okay, you get one, I'll get you the other one, it's fine. But she understands that that's an extra from me, and she thanks me for that, and it's not just something that becomes expected because we're trying to build in that understanding of the value of money. Understanding that addiction will cost, which is fine. Parents need to build that in, and if they can't, which clearly they can't, then yeah, it needs to become legal. Until that point, it's a shit ethical conversation, but legally they're not doing anything wrong.
What's the situation in Belgium then? Because I don't know anyone. I don't know any Belgians to be able to ask them, but they can't play. I think they can play Ultimate Team, but they can't fight. They can't buy coins. I think it's the same for most games. Any microtransaction stuff over there, I think has been ripped out. But what's the gameplay experience for them over there? Have they got like a battle pass instead, where they can pay £8? And I mean, that for me, battle passes are still one of the best ways to be able to grind towards something and get things back in return. I don't know whether or not that was a thing in FIFA. I know that they had SBCs to be able to grind, and what's the other thing that they used to do where you could, was that an SBC where like we managed to get Daniel James? What was that called? You had to like score 3 overhead kicks or 3 sweaty goals and things like that to be able to unlock players as you go along.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
What was that called?
I can't remember. I didn't play.
I don't think that was an SBC, but those kind of things, I like them to be able to get the best players to have objectives to be able to do. Maybe do just cost season objectives or something like that. Something as generic as that, and it's got out of my head. But stuff like that, I'm more than happy to be able to grind towards those things. As someone again who likes playing role play games, who likes to play MMOs, grinding in games is the best part of the games for me. I
Pippi
don't want to
likes
just be able
role
to
playing grinding. Just
yes,
confirmed. Pippi likes
exactly,
role playing
exactly.
grinding.
My birthday is in December. If anyone wants to get me either of those two things, that would be fantastic. But yeah, just having those things available to you in the game is perfect. Is that what it is? Is that the normality in Belgium now to be able to get those things, to be able to play the game at it? Is there any pro Belgian players? Like, because obviously if they can't put the stuff into the game to be able to qualify, do they have to go in through a back door? I have absolutely no idea. But if anyone knows that, that'd be great. I mean, this is a talk show. I probably should have done that research before now, but it's just literally come to me. But yeah, maybe having something like a battle pass in there to be able to unlock things as you go along. I mean, the objective stuff was perfect for me. I liked being able to grind towards those things, but in the grand scheme of things, albeit it is a scummy thing to do, having it, and it's highly unethical to have to normalizing FIFA points as your main source of being able to play the game to an enjoyable level. It's highly unethical. But until something gets happen, so until it becomes illegality, they are again unethically well within their right to be able to do that.
Yeah, that's the issue. The issue isn't EA as such, in my opinion, and it's easy to take grievance with them and say, well, they shouldn't do it. They should know better, and that's where you get down to there's a very simple but very brutal sentence that you'll hear in anything. It could be a mafia film, it could be anything, and it's just business, and that's it. Business doesn't hold any sentiment. Business is defined by black and white rules, and the grey areas that society throws in are irrelevant. So until that is made illegal, there's nothing wrong with buying FIFA points, nothing at all. So you buy the game, you buy FIFA points, and you play. Job's good. And just in the same way that some people would be probably more likely to argue that buying V-Bucks is fine. So you get Fortnite. Well, I said get rather than buy because it's free. You get Fortnite. You buy V-Bucks. You get skins. Jobs are good. Or you get Fortnite. You buy V-Bucks and you get the battle pass. Obviously, the difference there is the battle pass is a guaranteed return on investment, and skins are a guaranteed return on investment. There is no gambling. So buying FIFA points isn't the issue. It's the step afterwards. It's the gambling part of it. So retailers are pushing the sale of coins. They are just as bad as EA are because they are selling these coins knowing that they are funding this addiction. So because EA wants to sell the coins and is getting a rap for it, so should Smiths. It's not just EA's advert; it's EA's advert in Smiths magazine. So EA want to make money, but that's bad. Whereas Smiths are running the advert because they want to make money. Why is that not as bad? Game will do the same. Tesco, you go in Tesco, you can buy FIFA points. They have those little cards on the shelves next to the game. Why is Tesco not to blame? Because they are selling FIFA points, which is exactly, and that's the problem. Isn't the sell? The problem comes after, and that's the in-game regulation. That you could say falls on EA, but it doesn't because the rules that they have agreed to, the landscape that they're playing in, has been set by a governing body. You can't argue with a player on a pitch who's following the rules of a game that's been set by the referees in FIFA because he's playing to the rules. That's business in that sense. FIFA are playing the governing body's rules, and they're playing by the rules. Whether you like them or not is irrelevant. It's the rules that have been set and need to change. So it's shit. We can all hate EA for taking as much as they can, making hay while the sun still shines. But in reality, we've got hatred at the businesses trying to make money, whereas really the hatred should be pointed at the governments that were setting the rules that the businesses have to adhere to make money, and that's the issue.
It's a massively easy sell for people and companies to be able to make money, especially around the game's launch and leading up to Christmas. They're the massive. That's where the biggest chunk of their income, I imagine, will come. Especially if your parents are going to game, they're buying the game, they're buying £20 worth of FIFA points as well to go alongside it. It's an easy sell for them, but ultimately, I'm glad this kind of outrage has come about over the last 2 days purely because it's entirely up to us to make change. The Belgians didn't just go. The Belgian government just go, "Oh, this is wrong." I imagine the people over in Belgium have been campaigning for this for such a long time that it's actually gone to uh, it's gone to court and then they've ended up winning and then the things have managed to change over there. How that will affect us in terms of maybe content creators may not be able to do that stuff over here anymore over in the UK, but it's entirely up to us to vote with our wallets and try to make the change, make it become public enemy number one. It will not happen otherwise. But I'm glad that this kind of thing is being put into the newspapers now, because people who potentially may not have seen this before, and more so than parents. Like, I say this all the time, but us lot that are in this chat now, we are a very, very small minority of gamers. Even if you go into someone's channel who's got 45,000 people watching him, they are a very small audience compared to the bigger picture of kids who aren't even watching Twitch. They're not watching YouTube. They're just going home and they're playing the games. The casual gamers make more up of this gaming society that we are than we even contemplate. We are the minority. We may live and breathe it, but the casuals are the bigger chunk of the pie. Now it's for us to try and educate them to say, yo, this is actually wrong. Like, we shouldn't be doing this. You shouldn't be putting up this. You should not be putting £40 into your account. That cannot be normal. You may as well just go to the bookies and put £40 on City to beat Leicester 5-2. It ain't gonna fucking happen. Do you know what I mean? But those type of things need to become. They can't be normalized, and it's entirely up to us to be able to go in and try and change that. It can't just be left to be able to do it otherwise. Again, unethically and legally are two completely different things. We need to try and make it unethically and illegal to be able to distribute this sort of stuff, regardless of the age of the person who's consuming it.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's getting angry at someone for doing something that they're perfectly allowed to do isn't their fault. It's the context, the situation that you put into. That's the issue. David also says there's always someone who disagrees or wants to get around things, like when parents say school meals are unhealthy. So when a school tries to go healthy, some parents just wait at the school fence to take the kids some money so they can go and get burgers. Yeah, it's like, or even waiting there to go get the kids some food and bring it back, that sort of stuff. Yeah, people will always go, well, I don't want my kids. I want my kids to enjoy life. I don't want them to always have to eat a broccoli sandwich without the bread.
Same thing with the mask now. Like, how many shops do you go in where people, like, we was at a restaurant last night, it said on the door, wear masks as you went to, don't take them off until you sat down at your table, and people just didn't give a shit. They just don't want to wear one. It's you can't leave the majority of people to be able to have their own minds when it comes to stuff, because they're just fucking idiots. Like, if you're wasting £200 on FIFA coins just because you want to get the best players right there, right then, you probably are going to lead to having an addiction.
I mean, and
Like, I don't know how more blunt you can actually put it. Like, if you put in £400 in a fruit machine, the chance of you getting £50 back, which is probably the max that it's going to drop, you're losing 350 quid. Do you know what I mean? Like, how the maths doesn't work out.
see,
It's just one of them things.
either of those I don't see as a waste, technically. You spend 400 quid to win 50 quid, yeah, you're losing 350 quid. But if you're enjoying your time and you can afford to spend that 350 quid, that's your money. Fill your boots. If you're doing it to the point where you have to win this just to feel safe and sound in your mind that you've got your win and you've ticked a box, then there's an issue then. And it's not so much the prize or the gambling element of playing the machine or putting 200 quid on FIFA points. That's well and good. Put the money on if you want to do it. If you can afford it and it's you can justify it as a good use of time, then by all means. But not all adults are in a situation where they can justify. They can not justify. They can properly validate whether they should put that extra 50 quid into that bandit or.
Where's the grey area then? When you literally can't afford to, where the enjoyment goes. Like, I enjoy going out and getting pissed, but I can't afford to do it.
Well, that's the whole thing is grey area. The whole thing's grey area. The line, which is the one that gets put into advertising, is when the fun stops. Stop. But what makes that fun? I mean, if you fall down the well and it's not fun anymore, suddenly getting the big win makes it even more fun. So it's all grey area. It's a horrendous area. But that's the point. Is that grey area shouldn't exist for children. It shouldn't exist for adults, but it does. But it shouldn't exist for children. The fact that it does isn't EA's fault, as we've said a few times already. Now it's governmental stuff. So EA are playing a game that they are allowed to play that is very black and white, but people add the grey area around it because naturally you would do. But EA are ticking the boxes that they've been set in black and white. They aren't the ones that are responsible for the grey area, and that's the thing. We always stick it to the wrong man. It's not a great situation from EA, and they are making a deal with the devil. They are making masses of profit by doing some bad sort of stuff ethically, but no, the issue is the devil is powers that be, the governmental stuff. Yeah, agree, G-Man. So many people are in the wrong because of this. It's not just EA. 100%. Spot on, babe. It's going to be a process for sure. And over time, with everyone learning, this should become a better situation for all parties involved in the whole microtransaction scene. Bibi for Prime Minister. They're fucking idiots. They are. I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, my personal thing is I'm a Yorkshireman, so I'm tight as fuck. So I wouldn't put money into a bandit anyway. Maybe a couple of quid for a bit of novelty's sake. But if I see a bandit in a pub, it's not interesting me. It's just a flashing light that's nice, beautiful, and that's it. Not interested. And kind of the same thing with my club, and that I put money in at the start, and it's usually that $7.99 my club coins bit or whatever. But that's so that I can get a manager off the bat without having to play enough games to unlock them to be able to buy whatever, and I can build my team off the bat. But that's the thing. Like very early on in this, Bateson said something along the lines of, "It's you either play it and grind it, or you put money in. Those are the two routes." And I mean, I don't play these very often, so I put a little bit of money in so that I can get a guaranteed return on investment in a manager. I don't put money in to the packs and the coins and the agents and that sort of stuff. But that's I suppose that's where it's different for me. I'm paying for a return on investment again. Once again, I don't do the gambling side of stuff. I will not buy 1,500 coins just to be able to do spins, because for me that's just money gone. And even if I get what I want, despite that being against the odds, it just doesn't feel the same sort of satisfaction. I'll buy something that I know I can use. Rarely. Mike says, going to end up in a situation where you have gamble awareness ads on video games. I think
Should already be there, in my opinion.
Oh, I don't think if we're in a situation where we have to have gamble awareness ads, then there's already been too many wrong decisions made by greedy people. There shouldn't be gamble awareness ads because they shouldn't be gambling. But that's it. I think we are probably going to end in a situation where we do have gamble awareness ads, but I don't think we should be gambling in that situation. If the gambling is there, then for the nasty governing greedy feckers, they're the ones that have made, let's put gamble awareness ads in. Why didn't you just get rid of gambling? Because money. Yeah, but just fucking get rid of the gambling and we can make money in ways that work. Yeah, but this actually makes shitloads of money. And, we're just going to put gamblers awareness ads in. No, get rid of the gambling and make money in a legitimate way. Get rid of it, and then we don't have to have the gambling awareness. Now, we'll put the gambling awareness because we like the money as well. It's fine, come on. So, yeah. I agree they need to be there, but I would rather them not have to be there at all. Because, yeah. We've gone too far if we're putting gambling awareness ads in. You're not eradicating the problem, you're trying to put a plaster over it. EA points like seeing as needing age restriction as it's gambling basically, but the way how that could be done and monitored is a bit of a difficult one. That I leave to wise people to build though. Also, EA needs to get some sort of warning message about the danger of gambling with packs for the foot for the addicted people. I mean, don't get me wrong. It's all right for me saying I don't think there should be any gambling, and gamble awareness ads is too far. I can say that because I'm not vested in this. There are hundreds of thousands of jobs invested into supporting EA, from development, through to marketing, through to social, through to logistical, printing the game, designing the cases, all that sort of stuff. They all are based on the profits that the game makes. And if that game starts to lose profits, a lot of those jobs will be cut. Not because they can't afford to pay them, just because profits. That's the way the world works. So yeah, I would like them to cut that all out, but yeah, it's easy for me to say that because I don't have to think about the money and recouping that. You can make it work though. Even Activision this year have said the money that they've made from loot crates in COD, they've more than made that with skin purchases and battle pass purchases. Yeah. So you kind of have to feel that if COD can do that, then there's got to be something that FIFA can do in that similar sort of.
It massively surprised me that FIFA don't have Ultimate Team as a free-to-play mode. Like, imagine, again, this is another shit thing to say. Imagine how much more money they could make if FIFA was free-to-play and everyone had access to it. It surprised me that they haven't done that, because that would be like the cherry on the ice of the cake for them. Like, they would make so much more money.
Yeah. And that shows you just how much money they can make for it. I mean, my club has a free-to-play version because it makes more than enough money to sustain that area. You can obviously tell that things like the main game and having servers and having story modes like career modes, master leagues, and advanced and stuff like things like that don't make that much money, so they need to have a cost on the box. But yeah, they definitely can make a chunk of money. Not Lake. Stewpot, good morning. Stewpot says, I've gotten into debt because of Ultimate Team. It's so addictive, and I have an addictive personality. Luckily, I've been able to clear off the debts, and I am wondering whether to even buy FIFA 21 or not. I mean, the fact that you know that you have an addictive personality, and the fact that you've made reparations so that you're not in that same position is good. Just obviously keep that in mind when it comes to purchasing the game. If you want to play the game and you want to enjoy it, jobs are good. Just the fact that you have that self-awareness is a very, very big step as to you can help. If you buy that game, you might be able to stop yourself from falling in that same hole. If you're not sure, I would say don't buy it. But then again, you then miss out on all of the pleasure and the joy that the game does have to offer at its core. So it's easy.
At the time, this again, I'd say this with the biggest pinch of grain of salt. At the time, was you enjoying playing the game? Obviously, it's never worth you being able to go into debt. Absolutely not. If you could potentially lose your house, your family, everything that goes along with it. But I fucking love going to the casino. I love it. Playing blackjack is like one of the best thrills that you could probably have. But there it comes to a point where I know that I can't afford to do it. Like, I can't remember the last time I went. It probably a couple of years ago. In fact, no, it was at New Year. It was over New Year's when me and Samantha was in Dublin that we went over, and I played blackjack. I ended up winning like 50 quid. As soon as I got the 50 quid, I fucked off out of there. Like, I was able to do it, but it was an enjoyable experience. I love playing fucking blackjack. I love going to a casino. I can't afford to do that all of the time, so I don't do it. But that's just a little bit of willpower that I have to be able to do, because I know full well if it ended up staying in there all day, I would spend a fortune and I would be skint. But that's just the small willpower that I have. Obviously, everybody doesn't have that. But I still think it's weird that we've talked about this before, about them not having a section in the game. Like, you couldn't let Chloe play PUBG, even though you was telling her she could play PUBG, because PlayStation stopped her account from going online because she wasn't old enough to be able to do it. It surprises me that feature isn't in there for sports games that require card payments.
Yeah, well, it wasn't even PlayStation. So it was PlayStation says you have an account, you choose whether you want it to be an adult account, which has everything, whether you want it to be a child account, and then therefore you can allow it to access other things. So I went for that one. But then PUBG themselves said, nope, you have to be 18 for this. And it's like, even though it's a child account, and even though it's a child account that I've given permission to play games, PUBG in-game says, no, we can see this is a child account, it's not old enough, you're not allowed to play. Despite parental consent and it being legal, we aren't letting it happen. Which obviously is a wonderful thing in that sort of sense, because I mean, I suppose that's where it's ironic, really. I'm saying that gambling and stuff shouldn't be allowed, but I'm allowing my daughter to play a game where she can shoot people to death. So, you know, it's hypocritical, really, of me in that sort of sense on some levels. I mean, you kind of have different arguments of is it much different? Not only that, and is it much different from shooting like people till they evaporate and drop their stuff on Fortnite and there's all sorts of conversations on that. Well, let's not go down that road because we'll be here we're already 45 minutes into one conversation. We've got another 4 more to go, so let's leave that there. But jumping back through, Mr. T, good morning, says things are at a tipping point with this stuff. Something has got to give one way or another sooner or later. If foot is ruled as gambling and that comes into it, that means that 18 plus age rating. If that happens, that means FIFA, UEFA, and the likes won't be happy and things get messy. That's true. I mean, that's the key thing. FIFA, UEFA, any footballing governing bodies, their whole remit is football is for everyone. If you start to turn that into a gambling product, then that breaches the whole remit of football. Isn't for everyone. Football is a language. It's universal. We get told football unites. All of these campaigns that you see, it's all about the same thing. Football is a way that we can communicate with each other. If it's only a way that you can communicate if you're 18 plus, then it's not a language. It's not a universal language. It's something that either is negative or has negative connotations, at least in terms of, okay, it's not something that's suitable for you because you're not old enough. Yeah, but it's football. It's football. So yeah, those brands wouldn't let that happen, and at that point, EA would have to change because FIFA and UEFA go, okay, well, it's our brand. You aren't using it in that sort of way. It has to be a universal, open to everyone title. And that, I mean, it could go that way. It could get to that point. We are seeing some movement in laws, and we are seeing some changing of opinions. But I wouldn't be surprised if 5 years time we're still having this conversation because it hasn't been boxed off by the government in that sort of way. EA will only put gambling warnings in FIFA if they're told they have to do so. They'll never do it themselves, as they'll never want to admit some class as a negative part of the game in any way. 100%, 100%. And if they get told to, they will put it on. And that's when we will see X and things going, because they need that license. And that's when we'll start to see season passes and battle passes and things like that coming into the game. Buying things for a guaranteed return on investment. You won't see any of the loot box and the gambling elements to it. Because it won't be there. I mean, the thing is, the thing to remember as well is loot box and gambling stuff isn't inherently bad, really. Because I mean, I'm saying this, I probably a bit of ignorance in the way I'm saying it. Who bought stickers? Who bought the Premier League sticker book? Who bought Pokemon cards?
Yeah.
It's the same thing. We are buying packs, literally. The difference is the percentages. You're not on a 0.0001%. And just throwing things away on a digital IP that you don't own. That you're changing a code in the back of a system to say what you have and don't have. You buy something, you get to keep it, you get to trade it with others, and so that sort of stuff. That's where it comes from, which isn't the same level of gambling and evil. You do buy something, you get guaranteed return on your investment that you get to keep forever. But it's that, and then it pushes it, and then it milks it until it's all completely void of soul.
I've got my Pokemon cards, by the way. I thought it was behind me, but they're not. They're in there. But that's what. How many years later? 20 years later, I've still got my Pokemon cards. So that's a worthy return on investment, if you ask me.
Yeah, exactly. And even like you play FIFA and you get a card that's a bronze shitter, unless you're going to stick it in some sort of SBC or whatever, that's just insta gone. You're not asked. Whereas I bet you've still got about 10,000 fire energy cards with your Pokemon set, haven't you? Even though it's a shit thing that you're not even asked about, you'll keep it just because it's one of the cards. Or you'll have your 27th Oddish, but it's still an Oddish. You could still put that in a trade with someone else or use it in a battle. Or they still have use to them. Ultimately, pun intended, free to play would be the logical way to go, but it's not as easy as that from EA's and partners' point of view, as it cheapens the respective brands. That said, we may be seeing the start of a different approach from them. Something Battle Pass style elements afoot have that, and what they're doing with Volta with the branded clothing, a la NBA 2K Neighborhood, perhaps they're on the path to a Battle Pass system. You know what you get, and buying cosmetic items. I mean, that for me is the best way to go, even if they absolutely milk the arse out of that. So they have a new item of clothing, and then they make sure that every one of their influencers and football players wears this real life item of clothing, but they charge you 50 quid in game for it. It's obscene. You're paying 50 quid for something that you're not ever going to wear or be seen to be wearing. It's just something that's in game, but it's a guaranteed return investment. You choose to get it or you don't choose to get it. That for me is the option. It's the choice. It's me emails a lot coming in. You choose it or you don't. It's the same way as like if you go into a shop and you buy something, you choose it or you don't. The new iPhone's out, you choose it or you don't. Just because it exists doesn't mean you have to have it. But you're guaranteed return on investment there. I'd be happy with that. That's ethically fine. You give people an option to choose to buy something in a commercial society, they can choose to buy it or not. And that's it. Whether peer pressure pushes them into buying it or not is a different thing. Whether peer pressure pushes people into gambling or not is a different thing from peer pressure pushing people to buy. Peer pressure will always exist in terms of keeping up the trends and so on. But yeah. Exactly, G. People think microtransactions automatically means bad. Not all. Just needs to be balanced and fair with a guaranteed ROI. 100%. Lake says it could be that there will be FIFA Street or FIFA next gen when better consoles allow everything for games, or NHL Street or NFL Street. Fucking NHL Street. Oh my god, street hockey. Yeah, like Mighty Ducks. I know you're coming off this subject, but I find it disgusting that over the last 3 to 4 FIFAs I've spent thousands of pounds and I've never ever packed Messi or Ronaldo. I'm sorry, but if people put that sort of money, I expect every player possible in the game. I agree. I completely agree. I don't play the game mode. So it's kind of ironic. I don't really have a place to comment on it, but I agree. If I spent £1,000 on a video game, I'd expect to have everything. For 100 quid, I'd expect to have everything. For 150 quid, you usually get any video game's top-end special edition, which not only comes with all in-game DLC, but you'll get the Call of Duty game that comes with a remote control car or some actual working night vision goggles or something like that. So for £1,000 and not get one player in a football game is kind of like it. It doesn't sit with me. But then again, I don't play those games, so that's easy for me to say. Anyway, let's put a pin in that one. No, I don't mean hockey. I mean the NBA 2K system, which you mentioned, as in a battle pass type of system. Oh, it's just when you're saying NHL Street. I was going to say if we're having FIFA Street, that's put on the street. If you get me NHL Street, where we got like a Volta but with hockey on the roads, yeah. But anyway, let's move forward. Let's move forward because we have a lot to go through. We'll probably have to shelve a few articles for tomorrow. As is always the case whenever we talk shopping football games, it tends to go on for a while. But the next news article, different tone, written by Don Peppiatt for VG247. It says Ex-Rockstar producer raises $40 million, $40 million should say, for an open world game called Everywhere. Former Grand Theft Auto series producer Leslie Benzies has raised over $40.8 million for his in-development sci-fi open world game Everywhere. According to a report in The Telegraph, Benzies' studio Build a Rocket Boy has succeeded in securing investment in the upcoming game from a variety of sources, including Chinese tech company NetEase, who's been making lots of big gaming investments later. As per consultancy firm Bohurst, Build a Rocket Boy's latest funding round attracted over $40 million worth of investments. Benzies worked in the Grand Theft Auto series at Rockstar North until 2016, when they left the company and took legal action against the studio and its parent company Take-Two, claiming $150 million in unpaid royalties. The case was long and messy, but was eventually settled in 2019. Everywhere itself will be different. As I'll say that again. Everywhere itself will be different. It's just the fact that the name is a word that you use in a sentence. So to clarify again, Everywhere is the name of the game that has just had the investment secured. So Everywhere itself will be very different from anything Benzies has worked on before. Everywhere has a lot of traditional game mechanics, but we're going for something more that draws inspiration from, well, everywhere. That doesn't make it any more confusing. Cheers, Jeff. Or Leslie even. Benzies told VentureBeat in a 2017 interview, players are getting smarter and require more from their games, and we want players to have the real freedom to live in our worlds in the ways that they want to. We're aiming to offer a huge variety of game modes and styles that not only tell our stories, but also enable players to live in the identities and adventures they most want to explore. The game hasn't been seen in a little while, and the current state of the title is unclear, though from this new round of funding, it's obvious that Everywhere is at least still in active development. Benzies is joined by Matthew Smith, audio lead, and Colin Entwistle, lead camera programmer, both former Rockstar employees that joined Build a Rocket Boy back in 2017. $40 million of investment.
Mm-hmm.
That's rather sizable. What are your thoughts, Bib?
I feel like we've seen this not long ago. What was that? We talked about this in the office maybe 2 weeks ago. What was it? Was it called Raw?
Something like that.
The game that was meant to be the Grand Theft Auto killer, 2017, I think it was. And the game looked phenomenal. They had a Kickstarter. It looked great. The Kickstarter went tits up. I don't know whether or not they just didn't make the money that they required to be able to create the game, or they just took the money and ran. I can't remember, but it looked great. This, nowhere in the article did I hear it say that it was going to be like a Grand Theft Auto clone. They just said they were going to make an open world game. That could be anything. That could be anything at this point. He's got experience in creating a GTA game, but open world at this point in time, is it going to be like Assassin's Creed? Is it going to be like Far Cry? Is it going to be like
sci-fi? But once again, sci-fi could be anything. Science fiction is anywhere that's fictional with a bit of science in it. It could be Star Trek, or it could be just something that's
No Man's Sky.
Yeah, exactly.
It literally could be anything. But yeah, I mean, 40 mil to potentially create a top tier game. Interested to see where this goes. I don't for a second think he's going to try and make a open world sci-fi shooter game. I reckon it's going to be something completely different. He's obviously got the experience to create one of those, but I think that it's too obvious. Do you know what I mean? Leaving the GTA studios to go make a GTA clone with sci-fi elements, far too obvious. But yeah, fair play. Fair play. It's interesting to see where this leads up in a couple of years.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be a GTA alike. The fact that there's sci-fi in it, and the fact that it's got open worldy stuff, which is great because open world and the technical side of that, how open world works in terms of, oh great, you can go everywhere. There's more to an open world game than just allowing people to go everywhere. It's obviously the processes and the procedures and the storytelling and the functionality side of it. You can take that and put that into any sort of environment and completely change it. It doesn't have to just be, rather than driving around in your Porsche Boxster ripoff, it's going to be actually a little spacecraft. It's not. You can change it all entirely, and so yeah, I fully reckon that they're going in that sort of way. But yeah, it was Raw, by the way. I just googled it while you were talking. Then Raw. If you've never seen it, if you want to see a game that sounds like everything you would ever want to have in a video game, Google Raw Kickstarter video or something like that. There was a game called Raw, and the Kickstarter video is possibly the most inspiring video that you will ever see for a GTA style game. It gives you everything you could ever want in video games. So I can play GTA, I can start off at the bottom, and it's basically has RPG elements built into it as well. So I can start off as a little nobody, and I can choose to be good or bad. I could literally build my way up to be a mayor of a city, or I could build my way up to be Tony Soprano and a kingpin of a crime underworld kind of thing. And I can clash in that sort of way. I can be the mayor that puts police officers onto taking the drugs down, or I can be a drug runner that puts pressure onto taking the mayors out so that I can have someone in house. And it's fucking incredible. Basically, they overpromised something that physically wasn't possible. So they had their Kickstarters started. I mean, I'm saying that that's what this is going to do. I mean, Leslie Benzies got given 150 million or a settlement for a case for 150 million from Rockstar, so he has his own money. He's got 40 million invested. Has the potential to be a good game, but 40 million investment is big, but also not a drop in the ocean when you look at the amount of money that would need to go into creating something like GTA 5 and GTA Online. I mean, GTA 5. Let's look at this for an example. GTA 5 came out a million years ago, not on the current generation, on the last generation, but it's on the current generation, and it's going to be on the next generation. And this article that we're looking at here, written by Dom Peppiatt for VG247, is on the VG247 website, which has GTA 5 in the top nav. So they have PC, PS4, Xbox, Nintendo, and then Red Dead Redemption and GTA 5. GTA 5 came out in the last generation, and it's still a top nav news article on VG247. That's how big that is. So 40 million is a drop in the ocean with the amount of money that it would take to develop something like that, and how much it could earn back. But it's still big enough to make it more substantial than the majority of games out there. The interesting one is that it's from another Chinese tech company. So is that going to get squashed by all these laws that have been that people have been putting in place to stop? Like India banned PUBG because it didn't want any Chinese conglomerates making games, and PUBG Mobile is made by Tencent, which is a Chinese-owned company, so they banned that there, at least temporarily. I don't know if it's back yet. So will this get banned everywhere? I don't know. I didn't even mean to pun that. Will it get banned everywhere? Didn't even know. Speaking of puns, Gary Clark says, I'm intrigued by this. I bet we'll see it everywhere. Sorry. You absolute punning rock star. Let's hope it doesn't end up like Star Citizen, where it just keeps going on Kickstarter for years, raising 300 million as of June.
We actually had someone in the chat that was a Star Citizen fan a couple of weeks ago, didn't we? And he was still livid that he hasn't seen anything from his game.
I mean, for me, that sounds phenomenal, really. You can't really argue it. It's perfect planned. I mean, talk about content that's going to last you forever. I mean, my PUBG, I'm on PUBG Season 8. And this game hasn't even come out, and you're still on Season 1, and it's 3 years later. God, I mean, honestly, complaining. You want in-game content and games to last forever, and you've literally got to... I'm joking. Speaking of games that last forever, let's move ahead. Will it last forever? Maybe not. Maybe not, but it's a game that could be coming soon. Anyway, we will see. The latest rumour from Deserter.com is written by Isaac McIntyre, and it's on Apex Legends, and it says Titanfall 3 rumoured to be on its way, despite Respawn's Apex Legends focus. So Titanfall 3, the long-awaited third instalment to Respawn Entertainment's explosive Titan-based FPS franchise, is very real and reportedly already in early development, according to rumoured sources from a known Apex Legends leaker. Respawn has long denied the existence of Titanfall 3. Oh my god, these adverts, get the fuck out of here. Respawn has long denied the existence of Titanfall 3, which originally became Apex Legends during the height of the Fortnite-led Battle Royale craze. A Titanfall sequel has never officially been off the table, however, with the franchise publisher EA even admitting that one could come down the road if the opportunity ever presented itself. As it turns out, that time may be sooner than we think. New insider rumours are suggesting a possible Titanfall 3 release is definitely real, that's in quote marks, with the plotted trilogy title actually already in development behind the scenes at Respawn Studios. The new Titanfall 3 rumours come from Apex Legends content creator The Neon_Beast, who has proven himself as a solid insider source throughout the Battle Royale's 6th season. Titanfall 3 is for real, the Brazilian leaker said in a now deleted tweet. I'm pretty sure leakers can say the same because we have totally different sources. The good thing is, even with different sources, the rumour is exactly the same. The streamer added he doesn't believe in coincidences. DeSerto reached out to Winchester for further details, but he did not reply before publishing the deadline. I'm pretty sure that leakers can say the same. Oh, that's the tweet embedded there, just not formatted properly. There we go. Popular data miner Biased12, who has become a leading Apex Legends leaker in recent times, shared Winchester's tweet with his own confirmation. Yeah, I can confirm that part, the data miner said in regards to Titanfall 3 being real. If these new Titanfall 3 rumours turn out to be true, Respawn must have greenlit the highly anticipated sequel in the past few months. Back in May, Respawn co-founder Vince Zampella admitted there was nothing currently in development. At the same time, the former Modern Warfare guru did admit he was very interested in seeing some kind of resurrection there. Zampella also promised he would see if he could make something happen. Maybe he really did. Titanfall 3 may reportedly be real, but that doesn't mean it would be coming anytime soon. Apex Legends is still Respawn's main focus, and with the current work from home situation slowing them down and that, Titanfall 3 production wouldn't have fared much better. For now, keep your eyes peeled. Respawn is sure to begin teasing the anticipated trilogy release soon, if it is indeed being worked on behind the scenes. And then something about Apex. Never mind. So, Titanfall 3 hasn't been announced, but lots of sources are coming through together to say that it will be happening. What are your thoughts, Bib?
I know a lot of people did actually have Titanfall 2 as one of their favourite games or favourite shooters of all time. So I think it was inevitable that we're going to be seeing a third one at some point. Do you not think?
Yeah, I think you're right. I mean, Titanfall 2 being one of the best shooters ever. I mean, you mentioned that Mr. Bamber of Jelly and Ice Cream fame swears that Titanfall 2 is possibly his favourite FPS ever in terms of the story, in terms of the gunplay, in terms of the gameplay. So that wouldn't surprise me. And this article kind of bizarrely says that because Apex Legends has been so successful, they aren't going to look at Titanfall. But that just sounds daft to me. If you've got something, Apex Legends, that has been incredibly successful, has had a huge start of it. Naturally, it's fallen off a little bit, as things do when they get older. Do you just sit and milk that cash cow until it can't give you any more? Or do you start trying to accompany it? And when I say accompany it, Apex Legends is in the Titanfall universe. It's not like that's its own standalone thing. Apex Legends comes from Titanfall. So really, if that surpasses Titanfall and becomes bigger than Titanfall got, you kind of... The common sense is, okay, well, this is something that people like. It's in a universe that exists, and we are now starting to see it drop off. How about we use that to feed the universe to make that be even more impactful? Take some of what you've learned from Apex and put that into Titanfall to revitalize that. I mean, I seem to remember as well, wasn't it a case of when Apex came out, Titanfall had a massive spike in sales and downloads because people wanted to see more about Titanfall. So saying because Apex is successful, Titanfall won't happen just seems a bit short-minded to me. I'd be more like, well, because Apex is successful, that's more reason for Titanfall to come back. People have got a hunger for this environment. We're building narrative into our characters. Like, what was it? What was the Revenant or something that came and killed one of the characters that was supposed to be put into the game, one of the legends, and they built this whole theatrical story around it. If people are buying into the story, then sell the story game. That kind of seems logical to me.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't even think Apex was still going. I thought it died after season 2. No, it's. I mean, it's definitely nowhere near where it was in terms of column inches. Obviously, when you have the likes of Shroud, Doctor Disrespect, and all these other people becoming Apex Legends partners, then you're gonna get a massive boom. But as with anything, when you just release season after season after season after season without changing the formula too much. I mean, the formula is they could do big changes. They could change the map. They could change the characters. They could change the gunplay, but the formula remains the same. Unless you change it massively, then it's never going to capture the same momentum. The only way you can really do that is to have Apex Legends 2 and then do another big push, and then people see it as a completely different. Like I've said all along, PUBG is still huge, still massive, still has a lot of follow inches, still a lot of online stream minutes, and a lot of players. But the only way that it can become a fad again, a fad is when everyone plays it, even if they don't really want to. The only way it can become a fad again is to have PUBG 2. You can add a new map, which they've done 5 times, and apparently they're working on yet another map in the game. Great, right, nice. You get 5-minute pop for the people that still care about it. Put PUBG 2, and that's a reinvention, that's a rebirth, reincarnation, so to speak, and that's the only way you can bring a little bit of spice back. So use Apex to feed Titanfall 3. Titanfall 3 becomes big. That in turn can feed Apex, and you start the whole thing off again. So it seems daft to them. It doesn't seem daft. It seems good to me. If there's a number of sources, I could see this being something that is at least next gen exclusive. Maybe it'll come for the current gen, but I can definitely see it being something that we get a year into the next generation and just becomes PS5 and Series Xbox Series console exclusive. But do you know what? I know we do have some stories that tickle Bibby's fancy in particular, but I think we should put a pin in those. Yeah. We will wrap things up there. Thank you everyone for joining us for the conversation today. Lake, Gary, David, Mr. T, Stewpot, even Bateson, and everyone else along the way as well. I'm not going to scroll up any further because I could be here all day. Thank you all for being in the chat. It means a lot to have so many of you in from start to end. Thank you very much. We are going to disappear, but feel free to hang around because we are going to jump back on with number one pirate. Wow, I mean, first of all, he's got an admin sword, so he should be here just for the love. But I mean, I'm not used to him being here. He's ditched us recently, hasn't he? I mean, does he even turn up anymore? I mean,
Out of order pirate, if I'm being honest.
Yeah. Anyway, we are going to drop off because we have Masters of the League, our PC Master League, which will be taking place on this channel imminently. A couple of bits of housekeeping, though, before we disappear. If you want to... I'm going to say if you want to get involved in the Muscle Moose Cup, you can, because it's finished. We had our final qualifier on Friday, won by Mr. Precision TV. So the Muscle Moose Cup Grand Final is taking place this week on Wednesday. Not tomorrow, but the day after, we will have the Muscle Moose Cup Grand Final live, and it's going to be on the Twitch front page, so expect thousands of people to be in the stream. So if you want to see that, that'll be... The tournament kicks off at 7 p.m. on Wednesday evening, so make sure you join us for that. You can't qualify anymore, it's all locked in. But we'll have all information. Pyro says, who's in that cup final? It'll all be revealed. We'll have some social assets going out showing who the 8 qualifiers are and what their routes are going to be through to the final. That will all be on the Ice Cream Upload socials, which we'll jump onto that shortly. Before we jump to that, the players are contesting for a Muscle Moose Cup selection box. Iceman's beat him to it. Before we jump onto that, players are competing for a Muscle Moose selection box and an Ice Cream Uploads baseball cap. So you can't win a baseball cap, but you could win yourself a selection box. If you want to enter that ! Giveaway in the chat, we'll give you a link to enter into the Muscle Moose giveaway that we are running right now. That ends on Wednesday night too. So the winner will be announced during that stream. So not only will give one away to one of the players, but someone in the chat as well, or someone that's entered through the social stuff. So ! Giveaway to get that for yourselves. Anyway, before we do disappear and jump off and get set for Masters of the League and get set for the Muscle Moose Cup and run all of these giveaways because we like giving back to our community. Speaking of giving back to our community, ! Loot Drop, we're going to give something to one of our subscribers next week. But before we do all of that, Bib, is there anything you'd like to add?
Before I get into that, does anybody have we come to a conclusion of what the prize is, and can people know what it is?
For the loot drop, we haven't announced yet. So we'll just leave it at that. So ! Loot Drop. If you're a sub, on the first Monday of every month we give something away. Last month we gave away a hat which we hadn't actually sent out to Rock Pie, to be fair. So eventually you might
do
get
it tomorrow when we're in the office.
Yeah. So we gave away a hat last month. We'll give something away next Monday as well. If you're a subscriber already and you're going to be a sub on Monday, you will be entered into that without doing anything. All you need to do is go to Discord, link your Twitch and your Discord, and it'll know whether you're a subscriber. Job's good. Anyway, babe, anything you want to add?
Yes, if you do see any video game news knocking around the social media platform of your choice, then do feel free to get in contact with us. If you are new around here, please hit the follow button. Our socials are in the chat. All you need to do, there's also a second way. Go into our Discord. The Discord link has been flying through the chat, and it's also there again. Thank you very much, Pirate. Two ways you can do it. Either send us the stuff over on social media or join our Discord. All you need to do is add in the URL, your first impressions. We will then give our first impressions in the very next show, which will be at what time tomorrow, Mr. Graham Day?
10 a.m. ish.
Or after 11.
Yeah, half 11 like it was today. Thanks, Streamlabs for that. But yeah. We have a new intro video. So if you are coming along tomorrow, so I'm distracted because the windscreen, the window cleaner is cleaning my window, so I have a brush going up and down the window. Anyway, what was I saying? Oh, we have a new intro video. So if you want to drop in tomorrow, when you get the little go live notification, you'll probably have a couple of minutes before we start the intro video. If you want to see the new intro video, then make sure you join us for the start. Nice. Anyway, we are going to disappear. We'll be back imminently with Masters of the League, episode 45, something along those lines.
45 it is, yeah.
Hey. So yeah, we'll see you in a few. Until then, have yourselves a fantastic day and
stay frosty.
frosty.